Hello, everybody. This is Coaster Floyd here. I'm back for another video today. Now, I know Fright Fest has been over for basically a week now. But anyway, I've been waiting to make this video for a little bit now. Because you may all know that I have a busy job. Yeah, I've been working a lot. I haven't gotten a chance to do some videos as I was wanting and planning on doing. But I'm gonna go ahead and do this right now. So this video will be the post Fright Fest report. So anyway, this will be my post Fright Fest report for my thoughts and my standings for how my experience had gone through for over Texas Fright Fest, what I loved and just didn't like about it. But anyway, I'm gonna be going through some stuff in several different categories. I'll be going through the scare zones, I'll be going through the haunted houses, and I'll be going through the shows and the characters. So let's start off with, I think, the scare zones. So the scare zones, it actually had about 6 scare zones, I would have to remember. Yeah, maybe. So the scare zones, they have all not been bad this year. Le Bizarre du Freak was actually my all-time favorite scare zone. As for what you could tell from my previous vlog that I have done on Halloween. If y'all haven't gone and checked out that vlog, I really do recommend y'all go check it out. So, yeah, Le Bizarre du Freak, in case y'all didn't know, it is a circus scare zone, which a lot of the clowns and everything else came in. Now, one of the scare zones featured new animatronics, that in Cemetery of the Living Dead. Cemetery of the Living Dead featured zombies, Grim Reaper, while Le Bizarre du Freak will be seen as a fortune teller and the Jack-in-the-Box killer. So yeah, it was actually really cool to see all those animatronics come to life in old Six Flags fashion. And the people up at Six Flags did a phenomenal job at bringing them to life. And yeah, the scare actors, that's what I could say. I could put in characters within scare zone. Maybe. Let me do that. Yeah, let me put characters within scare zone. So the characters within the scare zones have been really good this year. Yeah, and of course, for Le Bizarre du Freak, I gotta give my shout out to Kooky the Clown. My gosh, he is literally the greatest clown that we've ever had. Like, he is amazing. So yeah. Now, of course, there has actually been some dolls that had been hanging around in the scare zone, even though they also got a scare zone of their own, of course, and they all actually did a really good job at giving people some scares. I really enjoyed the theming aspect. The music pretty much did everything in some places. And even one of the jump scare sound effects. The jump scare sound effects, whenever I was going through Le Bizarre du Freak back on October 2nd, one of them actually got me pretty good. But yeah, I'm pretty tired, so forgive me for what I'm doing with my eyes right now. So anyway, I do want to say my least favorite scare zone out of them had to be Blackwater Walkway, I would say. Because, like, throughout one of the nights whenever I was going through Blackwater Walkway there really hasn't been that many scare actors that I have seen walking through the pathways. Like, I know there has been one night that I've seen so many of them, but really, there hasn't really been that much for what I have seen. Though, I know Vampire Alley was a great one. I really enjoyed that. So I would pretty much, I really haven't been going through Zone 6. I've seen the scare actors of Zone 6. I thought that was actually pretty well done. Made it feel like a zombie apocalypse and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. But I think how I would rank my scare zones, I would have to say, number 1, I'm putting Le Bizarre du Freak on top. Number 2, I would pretty much put Cemetery of the Living Dead on number 2. Vampire Alley, number 3. Number 4. How many scares? Yeah, I don't know, really. Oh, there's the doll one. Yeah, the doll one. Yeah, that is my number 4 pick. And then Zone 6 is number 5. And then Black Widow Walkway is my number 6. So anyway. Yeah, some of the scare zones weren't bad. There has been some really good scare actors there. But my only issue with them is I just really wish, like, there was actually more for Black Widow Walkway. That's why I placed it down bottom of my list, is because I've seen very little for what I've seen before. So, anyway. Really, not that much to say about the scare zones and the characters. Yeah, I think that might be it for what I have to say about the scare zones and characters. So that concludes those categories. Alright, let's go on to the shows. So, the shows, I had a fun time with the shows this year. Yeah, so, Love at First Fright, yeah, and by the way, one of the shows I'm going to be talking about will include a little bit of spoilers, so just a fair warning for what you're going to be getting into here. So let's talk about Love at First Fright. So the plot of Love at First Fright from last year's show, it talked about a couple going into a cemetery with a game of truth or dare. And then, they had to stay in the graveyard until the stroke of midnight on Halloween. While in the new one, you get the content creators with the two couple doing a bit of a YouTube kind of video in the cemetery. Yeah, to me, I kind of felt like this year's Love at First Fright. To me, it was a great show. I'll give it that. But to me, I kind of felt like the plot felt more for this year's generation of kids. You know, like how they do social media, how they're like social media influencers and stuff like that. How you see people in the world like that. Yeah, they actually went with that from the show, and I thought it was a bit interesting. But some of the, and I thought the actors did a really good job doing it. But one of the stuff I actually really loved about this year's Love at First Fright is the soundtrack. There was actually some of the songs were the same, but I think there has been, like 2 to 3 new songs in there that I actually thought fitted very well in this year's Love at First Fright than last year's has been. So, and then, really not that much to say about Love at First Fright, but of course there had been some changes. Like, if y'all had seen last year's Love at First Fright, there has been a few differences in there, like within the songs and stuff like that. So for over at the Frankenstein place, let me just say, they did not sing the entirety of the song. like in the first few notes. I'm not gonna sing it, but you may know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they didn't do the singing part that Richard O'Brien did in Rocky Horror, which is literally my favorite part of the song. But anyway, yeah, so I also love the jokes and references in there. Yeah, and just in case y'all didn't even notice, like there has actually been some mentions based off of Warner Brothers IPs, which calls out Looney Tunes, Scooby Doo, and of course mentions some of Six Flags Over Texas. Which, if y'all have seen the show on my channel, you would already know what I mean. But anyway. So yeah, I would have to say love it for Fright. For this year's, I might just give it an 8 out of 10 for that show. That is my number 3 ranking show for this year's Fright Fest. So yeah, the actors and everyone did a phenomenal job. As they should. I really loved it. But anyway, let's talk about the next show, which is my number 2 favorite, Hell's Bells. Oh boy, yeah, that show is my number 2 selected show for Fright Fest. Basically talking about the same plot as last year's show, where it involves a hotel. A group of ladies had begun their stay at something to do with a rich hotel or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, correct me in the comments below if y'all know what the hotel's name is. So anyway, the majority of the music has all been the same as last year. Yeah, but they did add in a Bad Romance song, which I don't think it was not in last year's show. Yeah, and of course the performers of the show did a phenomenal job. And also, back on my Halloween visit, I actually ran into some of the performers from Hell's Bells, and she actually watched my channel. And for one of the performers who watches my channel, thank you for watching my channel. It was great to see you at the park the other night. So yeah, anyway. So yeah, I will say Hell's Bells is actually just as good as last year's. Like pretty much the same as last year's, but it was great. Had a new opening, and the opening sequence before the opening sequence whenever the show began, it started off with a radio transaction and stuff like that, going through different kinds of music and stuff like that. I actually find that very creative, like to start a show like that. Yeah, I actually really like the whole concept of it and stuff like that. Yeah, and really not that much to say about the show, really. But yeah, the choreography of the show is also really good. I enjoyed the dancing and singing in there. So yeah. So really that's all I gotta say for Hell's Bells. I'm probably gonna give Hell's Bells a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the next show, we have a kids show, which is by the name Monster Shop. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail with Monster Shop, but there has been some differences between the show. The songs are the same ones as last year's. They just have different characters. Yeah, last year for this show, the characters, like the owner of the store was a female performer, but this year it was a male performer. I do not know what their names are, and just everything else, I just want to specify for what I've seen. And one of the monsters from last year was a fairy. This year was a pirate. So I actually like the pirate character in there. I just thought the songs that he sung in there it actually did pretty good for his character. I actually enjoyed it. So yeah, but again, to me though, that actually has been one of the shows that I just didn't really care about that much. I enjoyed the music and everything else, but that show is basically all for the kids who come to Fright Fest, whatever, if it's Kids Boo Fest or Fright Fest in general. So yeah, again, the thing that got me for that show is it has a bit of a childish theme around it. Like, that show is meant for little kids, but to me, I actually find it fun and cute. Yeah, it's a pretty fun show. Yeah, for all the kids to enjoy and all the families to love as well. Yeah, the performers did very well. Yeah, I think the show, I think it was only about 10-15 minutes, I would say. Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, for me, it just isn't the show for me. I only did it because of you all, because I record the shows and give you all some good content. So anyway, yeah, it is a fun little family show. I enjoyed. But for me, in my own opinion, I would probably give that show a 6 out of 10, at least a 6 out of 10. Now to move on to the shows at Carousel Stage. In one, I have to talk about Arrhenius Awakening. So, as you may recall from the recording that I had done, which was the opening night of Arrhenius Awakening, yeah, I actually thought they did the show very justice back at the beginning, where they showcased all the haunted houses and everything else wise. Yeah, I actually thought they actually did a very good job at showcasing the haunted houses. Yeah, and the performers for Winston, Harvestman, Clairvoyant, and of course, Arrhenia. Fantastic casting. For those, yeah, for y'all who have been cast as the characters, y'all really knocked it out of the park. Yeah, big shout out to Robbie, who played the role as Winston. Fantastic seeing you all the time whenever I come to the park. So good to see you. But anyway, so yeah, the Awakening show back on day one has been great. Unfortunately, back whenever we were going into weekend 2, they actually added in a little bit of cutting of the show. So basically, there's just been some stuff in that show that Six Flags just wanted to cut out. Yeah, because they thought it was just been dragging on for so long. So basically, for what they did is they bring out the characters, and then all the scare actors all come out at once on 2 sides of the carousel. Then do their spell, everything else, and then welcome to my nightmare, and then all of the monsters go. And then just whenever everybody's off of the carousel stage, the Hell's Bells group starts to perform. It's just that one song, which is Bad Guy. So anyway, yeah, so the reason why I didn't record that version of Awakening is because I wanted to keep the best one on this channel. So, yeah, that way y'all won't feel so disappointed for what you'll have to see for what I had to film. So anyway, yeah, and I must admit that the shorter version of Arrhenia, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't that bad. The actors for The Awakening did very good. They did very, very good. Yeah, and I actually enjoyed for what they were doing. And yeah, really not too bad. So for my final score for Awakening, I would pretty much give it probably, I would guess, a 7 out of 10. So, and that brings us to our last show, Dr. Fright's Final Freakout. Oh my gosh, that show was amazing. That is my number one favorite show out of all of Fright Fest. So, that show was everything for every time they ended each evening. And yeah, just, I love the whole concept for whenever they bring out the entirety of the cast of Hell's Bells and Love at First Fright on stage together. They do one more performance all in one show, like a huge part crossover, like we never knew we needed. And it was so cool. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that show. Yeah, and even, oh my gosh, that boogeyman on top of a building. Oh, yeah, amazing. Whoa, yeah, and the music choices, it just gets you moving. It gets your feet moving. It is a big dance party to end each Fright Fest evening. I actually really enjoyed it. So, yeah, and the actor who played Dr. Fright did a really good job at it. I really enjoyed what he did with it, and he knows how to end a Fright Fest evening. Nothing much to say about Dr. Fright's Final Freakout, but again, Dr. Fright is getting a 10 out of 10. So that does it for my show reviews for Fright Fest. Now let's move on to the last category of this discussion video, the haunted houses. So anyway, let's go through. So for the haunted houses, I'm going to work my way over from the least scariest to the more scarier. Yeah, which is, well, no, my rankings. So let's start with number 6, which is Killer Theater. So I know I have been dealing with a lot of issues with Killer Theater, if you are seeing from my vlogs and stuff like that. So Killer Theater is basically, I don't even know what to explain, but it's pretty hard to explain what Killer Theater is. All I could say is, all I could say is the whole haunted house is almost all pitch black. I'm just saying, it is a very, very dark house. Like, there was actually that one night that I actually got lost in. I actually walked into a control panel room for some reason. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I really wish I would have saw the arrows whenever I did. So, yeah, the scare actors in there were pretty good. Yeah, but the house itself, it really wasn't all that scary at all. Like, there were some houses that really wasn't all that much scarier as I thought it was going to be. So, really not that much to say about Killer Theater. Yeah, to me, I thought it was just an okay house. Moving on to Chamber of Torture, which is my number 5, which is located in the Texas Arena. I actually ended up liking that house back whenever we get into Halloween. Yeah, that haunted house actually redeemed me. So yeah, the sets for Chamber of Torture has been very well detailed. I actually enjoyed it. All the scare actors were all actually really good. And then, really, the whole haunted house thing hasn't been that much scary. It's mainly showing you all of the museum artifacts and knowing for all of the experiments that they have been doing for a lot of the victims who have fallen into their traps. So anyway, Chamber of Torture is one of the houses that actually just didn't scare me that much. So yeah, I thought the scare actors did phenomenal. They were pretty good. Yeah, but there's just some of them that didn't quite get me enough. So anyway, moving on to the next house, we have number 4. Let me see if I can try and remember. Oh yes, Lap 6 Classified. Oh my gosh, that house. That is among one of the most well-themed haunted houses ever. So, of course, I'm going to go through some major spoilers. So, if y'all do not want to hear anything about it, I would recommend you go check out and, well, skip this part until I talk about another haunted house. So, anyway, I'm going to go into major spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So, whenever you go through a haunted house, whenever you get all this green stuff, like you're going through some sort of tunnel and stuff like that, like, I thought that was very cool theming and stuff like that, like all the spiders and everything else. Like, the whole haunted house is all supposed to be an alien escape thing. Yeah, the whole, oh my gosh. The whole laboratory sets of Lab 6 Classified has been so well done. Oh my. Yeah, and there's actually been some sliders in there that has also been pretty good. The scares in there has also been pretty good in there too. I actually enjoyed it. And yeah, anyway. Yeah. Oh, and there's also an alien from whatever you see from the Alien movies at the very end with a very loud jump scare. But anyway, yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. And the theming, like whenever you go through the security breaches and stuff like that, I actually thought they were so well made. So yeah, so good. So good. So anyway, that's all I gotta talk about Lab 6 Classified. Let's move on to the next haunted house. We have Arrhenius Murder Mansion. So anyway, Arrhenius Murder Mansion is one of the newest houses to come to Fright Fest, and Arrhenius' first haunted house after so many years back. So Arrhenius Murder Mansion is actually a haunted house themed after her mansion, and one of the scare actors is one of Arrhenius' 13 husbands. And I actually thought, well, whenever I was taking a tour through Lone Star Coaster-thon, one of my friends that was talking over the camera said that it was so identical to Dewdrop Inn. Well, for what I went through, I actually really loved the set designs of Arrhenius Murder Mansion. Yeah, the scares were pretty good. Yeah, one of my friends have been working in there. I love it. So anyway, yeah, and yeah, the setting has all been very good. Yeah. So yeah, and then the Arrhenia that you see at the end is not the Arrhenia that you see at Awakening. So yeah, the Arrhenia in Arrhenius Murder Mansion is the haunted house version of her, not the Awakening version of her. Yeah, if you want to see the Awakening version of hers, then she would actually be walking around the park and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all I would guys say for Arrhenius Murder Mansion. It was a pretty fun haunted house. I actually enjoyed it. Now to move on to my number 2 favorite, which is Curse of Ra. My gosh, yeah, that house, I love that haunted house so much. So yeah, all the Egyptian stuff. Oh my gosh, incredible theming. I love it. So yeah, the scare actors, of course, have been very well themed. It made it feel like that you're inside an Egyptian tomb or one of the pyramids and stuff like that. And all of the jump scares, wow. All the jump scares have actually been very good. Yeah, yeah, of course you get the big scorpion whenever you go through it. So, and of course, I have mentioned this again. I had said that I was going to be going through spoilers. I am still going through spoilers. I'm sorry about that. I didn't say it before. So anyway. Yeah, the set designs for Christopher has been very amazing. Just very, all I can say, yeah, it's just been outstanding. So yeah, just one of the greatest houses I've been through so far throughout this year's Fright Fest. Yeah, and of course, yeah, the ending jump scare. Yeah, you get the monster, which is known by Ra. But yeah, anyway, it was cool. It was very cool. And now, time to go through our last haunted house, which is my all-time favorite, Piggy's Bloodshed. So, yeah, 8 times I went through that house. I love that house so much. Yeah, the set, like the theming of it, make you feel like that you're in an abandoned barbecue place run by owners. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, the scare actors, awesome. Just awesome for what they do. Yeah, and the setting designs is so terrifyingly frightful, and I love it. Yeah, there's just so much that I actually really love about Piggy's Bloodshed, and a lot of them had to have been for the theming that we had seen. Yeah, my gosh, and that does actually count as the longest haunted house in the park, and that says something. Whenever there's the longest house, you gotta make sure it's all good. Yeah, so anyway, I enjoyed Piggy's Bloodshed, and that is my number 1 favorite haunted house. And man, I enjoyed a lot of time going through it during the Thrill Seekers United event. So, man, yeah, I could get used to that house whenever I want to. So anyway, I think that might be it for what I have to say about Fright Fest this year. Yeah, and of course, for my final thoughts of Fright Fest, I had a blast this year than I did last year. Last year, I only had to go through 2 visits, and I think this year, I actually got to do 6 or 7, I would say. So, I had an amazing year at Fright Fest. All the houses, all the scare zones, and the shows have been very good. I really enjoyed my time at Six Flags during that frightful time of year, and I would pretty much give it, for the majority of the whole Fright Fest, I will pretty much give it a 9 out of 10. The reason why I'm not getting a perfect score is there has actually been some stuff that has been missing for Fright Fest, like the charm and stuff like that. Yeah, like some of the stuff that hasn't been whatnot proper, like for the Awakening, for example. But yeah, wishing it was a much longer show. But yeah, anyway. So 9 out of 10. Take it from me. Best Fright Fest than last year. So anyway, y'all, thank you all so much again for watching my post Fright Fest report. I know it's been over 34 minutes, I would say. Yeah, I had a lot to discuss, and I did. And I hope you all had a fun time sitting through this very long video for my Fright Fest report and review, of course. So, anyway, my plan is I am planning on wanting to come back over to the park on the 12th of November. which will be falling on Veterans Weekend. So if any of y'all are over at the park, come say hi to me. I won't bite. But anyway, so anyway, y'all, that will conclude my video. And thank you all so much again for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below what your thoughts about my video is. So this is Custer Floyd signing off. And you remember what to do. Y'all keep custing. Y'all have a good day, night, or whenever you're watching. See you later.